We're here.
Hey, howdy everyone.
Hello, hello. All right, so I got a bunch of questions prepared, obviously. Um, so just
All
so that
right.
everybody's on the same page, the purpose of this little chat is to talk about the patch that's coming on the 6th of September, right?
Yep.
We're gonna talk about like what we can expect, and then things that happen like this season, this past wipe, and what you guys figure went well, what didn't go so great, and adjustments. If that
All
works.
right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, September 6th patch, I guess we'll just get right into it. There was a lot of stuff that we've discussed, right? Between like the last Q&A session and like this one, and then obviously like SDF talking with Jay. So I guess my first question is the Ruins rework going to be in the white patch, or is that getting pushed? What is that looking like?
It's looking pretty good
All right, cool.
for the yeah. So I think there's some performance stuff that we have to optimize, but
Okay.
yeah, we've been playing it this week. So um
Really? We got a little
yeah,
internal testing?
internal testing. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
There's a bunch of stuff going on all at once. We only have a limited number of internal test servers, so it's just like we're internally clashing for like time to use the servers, the test servers and stuff. But we've been able to have multiple tests on the new revamped ruins. So
Okay. And what about bosses? Should we expect to see a boss on Ruins, or is it ready yet, or is there going to be two of them?
yes, so I I'm tentatively saying yes to all of your questions
Okay.
uh, because they're there. But again, the polishing hasn't been done yet,
So,
and
but internally, right now, you're looking at having
internal,
two
yeah.
two
But
bosses.
again, yeah, take everything with a grain of salt because things can change as we start discovering like, oh wait, hey, this might not, we don't have enough time, or it's not going to be, we don't think it's going to be ready enough. But that's what we've been playing around, and so
I mean,
yeah.
two bosses is huge. Like getting you guys. I mean, I know that that when we talked last, it was the idea was that SDF wanted there to be two bosses on there, and then it was like the workload in front of you for it. It sounds like you guys have been like really going like hard at it.
Well, so okay, yeah, I guess that's a good segue into like the background of what's been going on here in at the studio is that so we this project started just like, hey, let's build things ad hoc. You know, we didn't have much experience in the Unreal Engine, so there's a lot of stuff that's not very efficient, right? Uh, and so there's a lot of stuff that we had to fix in the behind the scenes that we've been working on. And I think we've been making pretty good improvement there, but also not just technical issues, but you know, just running the company and kind of managing people. So we don't have like proper processes or pipelines, and that's
Right.
first of all because when we started, we're tiny, right? So um, we majority of the lifetime of the development was done with like under 30 people, right? And so um, back then it was even with like bad practices and stuff, you could kind of get away with it because everyone's in the same room and stuff. Now that you know, it hasn't been a secret that we've been trying to onboard a lot of people, and that was a new process for us because that's not that's not our background, right? We're
Right.
just but I think we finally gotten to the point where, oh, we're kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, saying, oh, okay, some of the stuff is actually working. And so this is where you're gonna actually see that the people that were making like the monsters. So you remember it used to be one guy, and then it
Yeah,
ended
and then
up
it was two
we got
guys.
up to two guys. Yeah. So this is it's a little bit bigger now. So there's
No.
a lot of
So
wearing
there's more than
multiple
two
hats.
guys now.
Yeah, so there's more than two people. So that's why we're able to. I mean, so it's not like, oh, they're focused all
That's a
just,
whole ass
before it's
team,
like,
Terry. Now
few
now
months.
you're just
Yeah, it's
pampering
almost like
them,
an actual squad, right? Or party right there, right?
right?
So, so I think that's what this is where we're kind of starting to see the fruits of what we were investing in. It took way longer than we expected, like just onboarding again. So because you're doing multiple things simultaneously too, like trying to figure out what is the process, trying to figure out like, you know, uh, the structure of the company, building that as you're going along too, to have like, so, but all in all now is we're getting to a point where we're feeling a little bit more comfortable saying, hey, okay, hey, this your team, this is your area. Let's see what you guys can do. And so that's one of the ways that, at least in terms of the content for the ruins and the map itself and the monsters, the new bosses, we're able to kind of build more, right? Before we only had like everything was just done, serially, right? Just in a line. And now we have a little bit more. We could do things in parallel, a little bit more, better, a little bit better. Again, we have a long way to go, but this is one of like the fruits of us investing in that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the goal is we should have two bosses and a reworked ruins next week. So
That's amazing. So I mean, I think everybody's like really big on anticipating ruins coming back. I know gamers being gamers, everybody wants new content, right? They always want new stuff to do, and then of course they want, but they want it all to perform perfectly at the same time. So you just have to get everything perfectly right when you do the patch, and then it'll be a huge win. No mistakes.
So unfortunately, us.
Yeah,
Anyone
yeah.
that's known us knows us as and we have a pretty spotty track record when it comes to that. But that is something that we're trying to improve. But at the same time, so I think this, SDF and I have had a lot of discussion about this, right? I put it politely, discussion about is the speed that we're moving at and trying to meet all the different expectations, especially from players, right? So the thing is, like, for us is we want to deliver as much to the players as possible, our fan base, right? Because you guys are the only reason that we're here right now, right? But at the same time, is that for me, as one of the managers for this company, is like there's other considerations that I do also have to think about. It's like, the player base is one of the top priorities, but I also have to think about my team members too. Is like,
Sure.
How much health and mental that do they sacrifice, and trying to figure out that right balance, and then at the same time also now trying to figure out, okay, how to actually build like I always joke now, hey, it's time for us to become like a real company with real in quotes.
Right.
It's like before we're just like, okay, we're a bunch of um,
Yeah.
officially not, but
Yeah. You're not
internally
a dozen guys
more
sitting in
than,
the dojo anymore.
yeah, okay, let's try, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, oh wait, what happened now? It's like, oh, okay, this is an actual company, and now we got to have actual responsibilities. So trying to balance all that, and at the same time is like, okay, so SDF, he's very very like, um I gotta build the perfect game, because that's what all the players expect, and let's do it. People are gonna are players want it now, right? Everyone wants it
Right.
now, and everyone wants it's perfect right now, right? And it's like, dude, but uh, if we move too fast, then we might miss. We might actually start not missing our marks more and more and more. And so it's like trying to figure out like, okay, maybe we have to start realizing, hey, we can't do everything all at once. If we rush it, it's actually gonna hurt us more. So trying to find that right balance, So I think you probably noticed that this past season is that we kind of did, even though we have more people, because we're trying to learn how to actually start utilizing these kind of different pipelines and in the right way. You haven't seen as much, mid-season content this
Right.
time, right?
Right.
And because it's like, hey, okay, it's a kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, this time we're going to put our trust into our teams, let them cook, see what comes out, and then we could build upon that, right? Instead of
Mhm.
just like, oh, okay, you got an inkling of what we want, let's just throw it in there and just test it out right away, right? So if but I will say, there have been multiple times, like even the last, where it was like we wanted to throw something in right away. That's just to test it out, that even though we know it's not, fully baked. And I was like, oh, okay, no. Remember our new mantra. We're gonna be more patient. So it's like this daily struggle. It's like, oh, okay, we want, we see all the stuff coming up in the community, and it's like, oh, all that feedback, and we want to show everyone, okay, we hear you guys, but at the same time, we have to start doing things a little bit more professionally. I think that's one of the big takeaways. I
Mhm.
don't think, again, I'm not saying we're professional right now. We still have a very long ways to go, but this is the internal kind of mental struggles that we're going through here. So hopefully with the ruins rework, you'll see like, oh, some of the stuff that we've invested in that's coming out. But at the same time, there was a bit of a rush here. So like I said, the biggest issue for us internally, there's a lot of polishing that has to go through, and then performance right now is pretty bad on the ruin. So we're gonna go all in on that. It's like the frame rate. So like internally, I don't know, like the last patch. So I know network wise, we still have a lot of issues and stuff with rubber banding and stuff, and we're trying to figure out, okay, working with our partners to figure out, okay, what's the right settings for what kind of um, why that's happening. But internally, for the client side, we've actually had a lot of kind of small performance improvements. So the client itself right now should feel a lot smoother. I know there's still very kind of critical technical stuff, like internally we call it the legal ESP, where you get within vicinity of another party, and like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
and you
okay,
get
it
the
starts.
frame stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so that's basically one of the highest priorities. I think we're gonna put out some testing and logging for that. Um, in the So we're gonna have one more hot fix too.
Okay, so there's going to be one hotfix in between.
Yeah, because we want to do the other thing we're thinking about was is at the end of the season, it's like, hey, let's just go crazy, let's go ham, and so we have a small little event that
Okay.
we want to put in there, and
All right.
so when that goes out, I think we want to collect a little bit more data about that, the async load, the legal ESP. I think
Okay.
it's you know
All right.
uh,
Okay.
but
So,
yeah.
well, so in the idea of ruins and the ruins rework, when ruins was taken out, there was a lot of discussion of like sight lines, and then like invisible walls to keep people from in ceilings to keep people from being able to access certain places that were unintended. Is a lot of that geometry been redone? Are there going to be like new modules? Is it still the same 5x5 layout? I mean, and don't give away too much if you don't want to. Yeah, I think we're just kind of curious on like what we can kind of expect.
So yeah, there are new modules. I mean, I think you're covering a lot of the pain points that we kind of felt with it. you know.
Yeah, like the
that-
long sight lines and not having it broken up as well. And
So yeah, there's gonna be new modules. I mean, you you know, some of the main modules are the same. So it's definitely still ruins. You'll recognize it right away. But then some of the places you'll be like, oh wait, okay, this is something I haven't seen. And then some of the previous modules, you know, we've modified them, of course, right?
Mhm.
To
Can you give
affect
it?
the sight lines, to affect like, you know, the Assassin's Creed. Uh, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to get up onto the higher areas.
Okay.
And then there's a lot more like, so the other big difference is, remember we had the circle when the last time we had this the ruins, and now we don't. So we have to have different mechanisms, right?
Right.
For escaping. So we have to, you know, there's a lot more things that we've added that
Oh yeah,
have
because you have to have a
to,
bunch more new statics and stuff.
yeah.
So should
So
we
things like
expect like some new extract mechanics on the map then too, from like, you know, other
Yes.
stuff? Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we do want to give it its own little flavor, right?
Right. Sure.
So like, you know, the Goblin Caves had not just portals and the doors, right? We put in like the extraction ropes and
Where you put
stuff,
in the
right?
rope.
So yeah.
Will it
So
also have its own feel for like the, you know, the map duration, like the storm, you know, like each map has its own like flavor. Like there's a, you know, there's a rock slide or like the winter storm, and then there's like obviously like the locusts on crypts. So will ruins have its own like feel?
yes.
Cool. All right.
Yes.
And then for the bosses that we're gonna fight, what kind of, can you give us an idea of what kind of bosses you're looking at? Like what are we looking at fighting?
So I guess like the rework kind of like the theme of the ruins is kind of like ghostly maybe, or you
Okay.
know, like a yeah, like
Not telling.
ghosts. Okay.
Okay. All right. Not telling. All right. We'll all find out together. Okay. So moving on from ruins then. There's a bunch of other stuff that was, you know, getting talked about for the white patch. For the test server, we have the new matching system that's already in. We have the affinity system that is getting tested on the test server for the Squire. The new religion
Yes.
system, right?
Yes. So all of this is in preparation for the wipe.
Right. And then we have then you were talking about like cat people skins. So you have like the cat girl skin
We
idea.
actually say the actual race, yeah, it's gonna be the cat people.
Okay, so cat people is going to be in. And then the big unknowns is Gathering Hall, because people want to be able to hit dummies so that they can see their damage numbers. Yeah.
So the Gathering Hall won't be in at the start. So I don't know.
Okay.
Again, it's a very, very high priority because so it's not just to hit the dummies. For us, it's like you know, now without that kind of pre-lobby where you can see other people, is that there's no actual way to see other people in like a social, you know, even that was like a set, not really like a social space, but
Right.
yeah. So it is a high priority for us because we do think that there is, you know, we have to start leaning into more of the social aspects of the game. But again, so there are certain areas that we built up, and then there's certain areas on the team that are still lacking resources. I would say actually, so like the delay on the Gathering Hall, this actually comes to limitations for SDF and not me.
Okay.
You know, we're the ones that should have been working on this, but there's a lot of other moving pieces beyond development that's going on too that we have to kind of focus on for at least until this month, you know. So I think our goal is once we get into the white, hopefully, fingers crossed, is we have a little bit more, you know, room to just start focusing on the game development. So
Right. Okay, so from Gathering Hall, then we have Arena.
yes. So Arena is the other thing that we've been really working on. So internally, we've been testing that. I absolutely suck at Arena. So you know, my input there is just like, oh, you guys make it fun and competitive, you know, and I'll help out whatever I can with like the system stuff, but don't look for me for actual feedback on, you know.
So are we planning on Arena for the white patch?
So the thing is, so the arena, we have a plan. Again, this might shift because it's
Okay.
not, you know, set in stone yet. Is we want to roll it out in a way that it's not so. There was a lot of really kind of difficult design challenges with the arena. Is that first of all, we don't want to make it like this. So for a while, actually, there was discussions like, oh, is it going to be like a completely, you know, separate game mode, you know, that's
Mhm.
kind of just off on its own. But it's like then it might just start cannibalizing, or is it really meant for the people that, you know, our current audience, right? Our current player base, how's it interact with them, right? And so um the way we're thinking right now is that we want it to be in the overall game loop. So you know, things, it incentivizes you to go into the actual dungeons to have some kind of connection. So it's not just a standalone mode, right? So I
Okay.
mean, you know, we're not forcing people to do it, but if you want to do it, we want to have some kind of connection. And then, you know, if you do go to the dungeons, and so I guess this is the big thing that we could kind of start talking about, the way that we connected it, right? So there's been a lot of discussion behind the scenes between SDF and I. You know, like everyone knows, we're pretty diametrically have opposing philosophies when it comes to balancing and stuff, right? And so, but at the same time, it's like, hey, this season we had, you know, we started off with like the slightly higher TTK. I mean, it took longer to kill people and stuff, and so we didn't want to do things too drastically, but at the same time, it was like, okay, the, I this is a good base. And then you know, honestly, afterwards, after like the first month or so, I actually the last hotfix, I don't even know what change balance was. So it's just like I'm, you know, because I'm not part of the balance
Right.
team that anymore, right? Uh, so it's just like, oh, we have a good base. I think, you know, that's the my belief is, oh, okay, let's start off with a good base, and then as long as we don't start veering off too crazily, then, you know, we could build on this. But the thing was, there's always this kind of discomfort. Is like, oh, okay, are things a little too stale? You know, SDS, the chef that wants to start, oh, okay, making like that magnificent, like, uh, you know, with the little, with the crazy spices and stuff, right? And so we're talking about it. And for a while, you know, one of the things was like, oh, okay, you know, you get to the areas where you have like super complex tastes and stuff. But at the same time, it takes so much time investment. So that's why I think he hinted for a while. We're working on the the item socket system, and
Okay.
but right now, because of the arena system, we're going to delay the item sockets because um, the original way that I kind of designed the item socket is more my philosophy is like, oh, kind of, hey, you know, have like that closer to the baseline, and then start making little spikes, and then the opposing vision is like, oh, we're gonna. I guess it's the difference between like League of Legends and Dota, where it's like,
Okay. Okay.
so I don't like, oh, so
No, I
again,
mean
this is a
I have like 15,000 hours between those games, so I know what you mean. Like one is much
okay,
more
well, so
involved
it's
than the other.
like in Dota, it's like everything is OP, like everything can be OP, and everything, you know, become like
Yeah, I get what you
it feels,
mean. Yeah, you like the
yeah,
snowball gets out of control. Sure.
yeah. But whereas like League of Legends is more, it feels more like, oh, okay, this the good folks at Riot is like, oh, this is our vision, and we want to put it into this kind of box, and not box, but you know, like
Hmm.
um which is ironic because I play more Dota. I play way more Dota than League, but
Mhm.
I'm the one that's kind of pushing for like, hey, let's try to balance things more like League, and SCF is more like, hey, let's let people just go ham and let's go crazy, and they're gonna figure out the balance anyways, right?
Mhm.
Um, but
So on the aside from the gemming thing though, when which we can circle back to that, but
okay,
for getting into the arena, you're saying that
oh,
you
yeah,
want it to be like a progression system where you queue up for a dungeon and then there's going to be like an arena entrance somewhere in the
no,
dungeon along the way?
no. So it's not. So it's gonna be arena. It's gonna, you
Or do you
go
mean
into
to
the.
unlock it, it's through adventuring, then you unlock the ability to go there?
So if you adventure, you could get, you could get benefits from adventuring, but it's
Okay.
okay. I'll explain the system. I'll explain the system so
Okay.
so it's easier
Yeah, I think
to
that would make it
understand.
easier because it seems there's a lot of people that are a bit confused.
Yeah. So in the where you can select your map. So right now you go into the select your map and you have what is it, the Frost Mountain, you have the what is it, Forgotten Castle, and the
Hmm.
Goblin Caves, right? And then now there's a place called the arena on that map that you can actually select, right? So
Okay.
if you select that, then you can matchmake into the arena,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
Right. And then the arena is a pure competitive, like kind of a 3 versus 3. We haven't decided yet if we're going to do duos or if we're going to solos. Well, I don't think I don't think solos could actually work because of the class-based structure, or it's going to be very, very awkward. But I don't know. Us. We'll
Yeah, I
experiment,
mean, like
right?
there's viable solo builds for just about everything. Obviously, it's very hard to balance if you're trying to balance the classes to balance them from trios to duos to solos is almost impossible. Um, I mean, I suppose it's doable, but that takes a lot of doing. And then obviously you had the map layouts that you were showing looked like it was like a 2x2 grid, like 4 modules from various maps, kind of like set up as the arenas. That's still like the operating idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the return of the circle. Arena without the circle is kind of it makes it feel kind of that the matches feel kind of loose.
Hmm.
We want that kind of high tension, right? So it's a 2x2, has the circles. We're going to be using various locales, so there's going to be a lot of familiar modules, right?
Okay.
Um, so you go in and you're going to be matched up with a team of similar,
Yeah. How is the
like
matchmaking? Are you doing it in terms of gearing? Are you doing it in terms of like an MMR stat?
so again, this is work in progress, but right now is we're thinking going purely based on MMR. So you
Okay.
could meet people that So basically, we're incentivizing you to have the best gear possible, right? So because
Will there be
otherwise you're just going to be
limitations?
yeah, no uniques. So
Okay,
everything
good. That was the one thing that like all the homies in the group chat talking to like Repose and all those guys like we all kind of agreed we were kind of hoping that there weren't going to be artifacts because I think it would just skew it way too much. You get
yeah,
guys in there with violas and it's over.
exactly. So but so the this is where the tricky part came in, is like we had a lot of considerations like, oh, should you lose your items, right? If you lose in the arena, right? And the issue right now we think is the for this kind of extraction looting game right now is um, the value of the items feels a little too high. So when you lose it and then trying to what is it, kind of
Late
set
game
up.
best in slot kind of stuff that's really expensive is very hard to replace because it doesn't drop that
Exactly.
often. I agree with that.
Yeah. So we look at that as an active design challenge that we have to address, right? So this is something that we're going to try to address with the item socket system this season. But then the thing is that, oh wait, Arena took a little bit higher priority, and trying to solve two of these difficult problems simultaneously while making Arena fit into this loop was like, oh man, this is just a little bit too much for us. So we're going to start with the Arena. That kind of got pushed back a little bit. So I think we're going to, we'll see like how the feedback goes with the Arena to kind of inform us on, oh, okay, which direction, or how, how far to push with lowering the overall value of like the BIS items.
Yeah.
To replace that and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So this was like it's tied into like, oh, okay, if you lose your items and they're very hard to replace and very highly valuable, right? It's like, man, you're very disincentivized to play arenas because it's such a high risk, right? And so
Yeah, the hyper sweats
like,
would go at it, but only if they're winning.
Yeah, and then you're gonna extremely limit the player base that can actually participate in this feature, right?
Yeah, and I think the idea behind it is to have competition and get used to fighting, against certain classes, certain comps, so that it raises the skill level of everyone involved as they see them more and more and more often. Because that'll be kind of like the end product. So for the time being, at least, we're not going to have anybody lootable.
So, we are thinking about making it. Yeah. So this is the thing. I was like, but if you don't lose your items, right? It's like then. So the other thing is like the reality of it is there is RMT, right? We're trying to stomp it out, but there is RMT, and it's like, hey, if you just lose your items all the time, it's whoever has the biggest pockets are going to just have that. Those are the guys that we kind of see are going to be the.
Right. And spamming it also incentivizes people that are trying to cheat their way to sell those items in the first place, because you'd have those guys spamming the hell out of it and killing everyone.
And also incentivize people to go and do RMT, right? So
right, of course, of course.
Yeah. And so the solution, this is the tricky part. So the solution that we're gonna experiment with this when we start launching the arenas, and actually at the start of the season, is that items that you find in the dungeon, so items that you find and items that you craft will actually say who found it, and it's kind of like a minting system. So
it's gonna have like the founder of the item will be listed on the item.
Yes.
Wow.
So you go in and you get the item, right? And so this is the thing, is that there's a new category. It's like, oh, I found this item, right? So it'll say like, oh, okay.
Okay. So self found.
Yeah, so it'll have a little like an indicator that says, found by Onepeg, right?
Okay.
And that's going to just be it's like a permanent property of that item from now on, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, this is a system is any item that is found by you that you bring into the arena cannot be taken and will never be lost.
Right? Oh, interesting. So if you go in with the gear that you extracted that you took out of a dungeon, you outfit yourself with your own self-found gear, that can't be looted.
Yeah. So we're now it's going to incentivize you guys.
All right, that's kind of sick.
Your own stash of your items, right? And this is the thing that if you want to participate in arena, hey, that's yours, because I want to have the stash of permanent items that I could start, use on arena without that kind of gear fear at all, right? And so that's the thing that we're going to be testing this time. So
that's pretty sick. Actually, that's a really, really good idea.
So we're hoping again,
it really is like it's smart. Like, I'm not trying to blow sunshine or whatever. It's a smart idea. Like, everybody in chat is just spamming W's right now. Like, they think it's a great idea. Like, it actually, yeah, that's a really good idea.
Okay, well, so that makes me feel a little bit better, but we'll see, a couple of weeks from now.
Well, it does a couple of things, right? Because it incentivizes people to do all the quests and get their affinity up so that they can craft their own really good stuff, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
So you're incentivizing people to play the game, like the whole game. You're incentivizing people to go and adventure and try and find good stuff and retain it for themselves as like their own little arena kit. It deters people from doing RMT stuff, because if they RMT and they die, then like that stuff's lootable. Yeah. So everybody that wants to be a credit card swiper that gets killed by Repose or Jay or whatever, like they're just going to lose all that stuff, and they're going to be like, thank you very much. Yeah. And then for us, if we're making in generating our own gear to run that isn't lootable, you know, we're going to be checking everybody to see like who was the shitbag, like in a manner of speaking, to see like who was the guy that bought their stuff. So it's pretty smart, man. It's pretty cool.
So that's our thinking. Again, we haven't, you know, we've been, oh, okay, let's do this. This is, you know, we've been working on this system for the last 2 weeks, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what are the ways that people are going to exploit it? But right now we're feeling pretty confident. So again, we passed that threshold. Okay, let's just try it out. I think it's going to work. It's going to be cool anyways. Like, so I told SDF, I was like, dude, you know, even your common items that you take out, people are not going to sell that just because they could just show off, hey, I have SDFs, you know.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is only in the case of playing in the arena. It has nothing to do, like if you bring your own gear into the rest of the game and you die, they're still going to be able to take that from you. It's only for arena.
Only for arena will we make that link where your items don't get lost. In the normal game, the normal, you know, the Dark and Darker as it is now, yeah, it's the same, you know.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question to this. So because people, you know, if they paid for the game, right, they have shared stash. So if I make or create an item, whatever, get an item out from a dungeon on my warlock, and it's an item that is best suited for my druid, and the druid wears that item that I found on my warlock, is that still considered like, is it account wide, like created/found, or is it per character?
Right now it's per character. So these are things that we're gonna again. So that's why I'm saying it's like, hey, you know, big picture, it sounds like a W, but you know us, we'll probably screw up some part of those little details that we have to get right, but we'll get it right eventually.
I think it's just it's going to be a little grindy for people that want to play more than one character if the crafted side of that like affinity piece doesn't go between like characters. Because basically then you have to go through the entire quest chain to get to crafts on like your second character in order to be able to build something that's competitive that you wouldn't like lose an arena by, you know, to practice with or whatever.
Oh, well, so
you know because
what I mean? So the way we're addressing that is with the account-wide affinity now, right? So if you do the quest line on one account, then you get all the affinity on all your...
So this isn't just for Squire then. You're saying it's affinity-wide for all of your, like your whole account will be crafters and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, so is the craft going to be on like an account-wide cooldown then? Or are people going to have like 9 Grimsmile crafts every time that the craft comes up?
That is a very, very good question.
Because I think that's really going to mess up the market. I mean, yes. I don't personally care either way. You know, if people have the means or whatever, it's only going to create a whole lot more stuff for sale. It's going to saturate the market with like all of the top tier stuff like crazy though. It's going to be like, you know, there'll be 15 bis rings on there at any moment in time.
That I have to go look into.
Like I would, so, I mean, if I may, I think I would personally rather see that not happen. Because I think one craft every half hour is plenty for when you have, you know, 30,000 concurrent, 40,000 concurrent players at any given moment in time. But that's only my thought. I don't know like what Chad thinks, but if you have guys living in this game, they're going to be crafting hundreds of items a day and throwing them on the market.
So to me is I take that 2 ways, like, oh wait, oh my God, you know, people are making too many crafts. But at the same time, like I said, one of our issues that we're trying to solve is like these super high top end gear is just way too expensive, right? And the reason why is the real reason why is that there's people are hoarding it or there's not enough on the market, right? And I was like, hey, wait, maybe this is that solution. It's like, hey, if there's a much more and brings costs down, there's a lot of supply, you die. But at the same time, now this is in conflict with what we're trying to push with the arena, with the, hey, you go in and find your safe, you know, if I could easily just replace my gear set on the marketplace, right? So again, my mind right now it's just like, oh man, okay, there's a lot of other things that we have to kind of think about.
So
So this is the reason
I have another
why
one.
it's kind of was like, oh wait, this is okay, wait, let's remove this one variable this time,
Yeah.
and let's see how this works.
So
And then
I got another one. Well, two more. So one would be if I finish a quest on one character, or is that quest done on all characters? So it's like one quest chain for the whole account. Okay.
So originally we thought of doing that, right? So we thought of doing that, but the thing was, the reason we just went with the account-wide affinity was because you get the rewards for the completing quests, right?
Right. Yeah. Of
And we're
course.
like, hey, yeah, and so and some of those rewards are pretty nice, right?
Well, yeah, like the gold bag on like the 6th goblin
Yeah.
quest is amazing.
Exactly. So that's why we're like, oh, that kind of sucks that we removed that chance to do the quest line to get that, and we think that the investment cost to get that is enough. So that's why we kind of divert it and say, okay, let's just do the account-wide affinity, because if we just completed all the quests and made the quest line, just to the account, it's like, okay, you do that, and now I can't get the high end rewards. So
right. So
yeah.
so then my question is, if the affinity is account wide, and I have 9 characters, can I just hop to like the first couple of quests on like the goblin, for instance, or the armor smith or whatever? Can I hop from one character to the next and just keep handing in like ruby silver ore and get my 25 affinity across 9 characters? Didn't I just like level the crap out of him? Or is it only going to count once?
Yeah, so the affinity only counts once. So that was easy for us to.
Okay, at least there's that. Jesus.
We were able to get to that layer of like, oh, how are people going to try to exploit the system? But again, there's probably, I mean, people.
You had me going, man. I was worried.
Yeah. So we know that they're gonna find ways to cheese it somehow, and then we'll address that. But like the big ones like that, yeah, I think.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. I mean, that actually sounds like it sounds good, because it means that people, on your main character, if you go through all the quests, I mean, that one piece about being able to just spam craft across everybody. I don't know if that's really going to work out, but yeah, I guess you guys will have to, take it to the lab and see what you think, but I don't think, I think people making hundreds of items per character per day is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Or per account per day.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. Okay. So religion system. Actually, well, let's talk about the sorcerer. Is the sorcerer slated for this patch, or is it getting pushed?
It's pushed. So
okay.
It's super, super, super unfortunate. So again, more background, visibility. It's like the only guy that could actually really make the sorcerer is 2 people in the company right now. Okay?
Well, I know it's like SDF's baby right now to prioritize that. So
that's the thing. It has to be either SDF or his right hand man, the co-director, right?
Okay.
And so, but again, there's other obligations that are just super high priority that they're working on, because and so it was wishful thinking. We're like, oh, whoa, we could carve out that kind of and so yeah, it was like, to me, no. Well, so to me, I was like, oh, it would be super awesome to have. But I think SCF is the guy that's more heartbroken, because he's like, oh, I really, in his mind now, it's kind of, he has that kind of shape of what he thinks, but it's just, he doesn't have the details.
Sure.
To do that, he just needs, he even says, he's like, dang, if I just have one like 24 hours where I have no distractions and I could just think about, I think I could get this out. But if the instant he's operating on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a day.
Yeah, you said that he went to bed at like 6:30 a.m. today or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you just see, like, the instant he steps into the office, you have a line of people like, hey. And so the reality is that, yeah, it's going to be pushed back a little bit. But again, we're seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. There was this unfortunate, like, timing wise, it's like this kind of you know, where a bunch of things all kind of converge timing wise, which is not great for us.
Sure.
You know, but
well, I mean, given timelines on the last two characters that you guys were introducing, and you know the iterations along the way. I mean, you know, it has taken a while for you guys to generate stuff for different reasons. Like Druid had all the shape shifting issues with the camera placement and all that stuff, and then you know Warlock had its issues kind of like when it was conceived. So I don't know if anybody's really surprised that it got pushed, and I don't mean that as like a negative comment. You know, it's just like it seemed like it was a tall order, if I'm being honest. So do you think like maybe it'll be like a mid-season thing then? Or do you think that it might end up getting like the next wipe?
So if you ask me, I'll probably, I like to be kind of safe and conservative about, so I would say next season. But if SDF was here, he would say mid-season.
Okay,
sure.
all right.
For sure, he would say, yeah.
Yeah, I somehow envision SDF like locking himself in a room and telling everyone to go away for like a couple of days and just like grinding away on it.
Like he's like, leave me alone. I gotta get the sorcerer out. And
yeah, okay. Well, I guess pivoting from there, and and I think I speak for everyone when we say it's obviously disappointing because we always we hear about new classes, we want to play it. Everybody wants the sorcerer out tomorrow and monk out yesterday and that kind of stuff. But once it's right, it's right, and I look forward to playing it when it comes in. Okay, so religion system. You guys put the religion system on test, and I had a couple of questions about that, just because there's placeholder stuff on the test server and like that kind of thing. So, could you give us an idea of like the systems that are in it? Because you had listed the luck stat for like ranks. Is that going to be what like gets affected? Okay, so that's just a placeholder. So are there going to be like different things that you get for the ranks, or is it going to be like stats, or what did you guys envision for that?
So it's more for like kind of role playing and just like it's more for like role play. So originally,
so it's just like RP kind of stuff, like the extra flavor.
Originally, so again, this is not the current implementation, but long time ago, when we were first coming out of religion, it was like, hey, we need a money sink. There's too much. We thought there was too much gold in the economy. Like, what's a good way to get people to just spend their gold and not kind of motivate people to spend their gold, but not really get like items or whatever, right? I was like, oh wait, maybe like they could do a donation system, but that didn't really make sense in our setting, our world. We're like, oh wait, maybe we could have like different gods, and this is the way you give, you show your what is it? Link to the gods, you worship them, and then this kind of blew up into this huge like gang wars kind of thing. So at a point we're like, oh man, this is going to be like crazy. All the religions are just going to be beating up on each other, and it's like, oh, how strongly do we want to start pushing into having like the different followers of each god? So the 4 gods right now are not. We made like a list. There's a bunch more, and I think our idea is we're gonna have, so each god is gonna get conferred different blessings, right?
Okay.
So like the luck was the easy one, so that's why
the Noxalon guy.
Yeah. Pardon?
Noxalon or whatever his name
is. Yeah.
Sounds an awful lot like a certain group of people we don't care for.
When you guys, hey, that's. But yeah, there's going to be multiple gods. The original idea right now, again, things might change. It's like, we'll start rotating around the different gods, each season and stuff, but for different blessings. But it was, again, it's like a kind of fun thing. But we do realize that, hey, it could go into people just like, like religious wars in the game itself. So, we were talking about, oh, then how can people identify each other? So we're like, oh, we should give each religion their own specific emote, right? And we're like,
Okay.
oh,
That's
no,
kind of a
no.
cool
So,
idea.
yeah, we thought about that. SCF is going right now.
What up?
Uh,
Nice.
yeah. 그 religion 얘기하고 있는 거예요. 그래서 원래는 이모까지도 줄 생각
So
있었잖아요.
so he got like 4 hours of sleep.
Probably less than that.
Oh man. He's a machine.
Yeah. No,
Got
yeah.
them next one.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're not using the camera right now. Because,
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
우리 카메라 없어요?
안 쓰고 있죠. 지금 상태가
너무 귀여워요.
yeah. So, but we ended up not going with that right now because we think that it's kind of it's a little already too sweaty. So
Okay.
and it kind of just pushes people to be, oh, hey, are you that? So again, it's something that we put off to the side. We were
Okay.
like, oh, okay, we want to see like, okay, to start with this is, do people want to use this to instigate more PvP or not? But we didn't want to start at like the knob all the way at 11. And we knew that if we give everyone like people, it's like Inquisition. Are you part of our group or not? And then start killing. But so
Man, you had guys killing each other over the fact that they chose the wrong color of lizard skin. You gave them a religion, they're gonna go crazy.
so that was actually a good like indicator to us. It's like, oh, people might really get into this is because the color, the lizard man color, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're making these kind of cool, emergent, fun kind of gameplay themselves, right? And so we just give them the tools to do that. But at the same time, it's like the tools could be dangerous if we push them a little too far. It's like, oh, okay, now this gets a super sweaty game, right? And so that's why we're like, okay, this is an idea we'll put it on hold for right now. It's not off the totally off the table, but it's like, hey, we didn't want to start everything with the knob all the way up to 10, 11, right? It's like, okay, let's start it here and we'll see how it goes. But we do have another we do have an idea that we're working on internally because that it does sound cool. It's like, oh man, we're gonna have these wars. And so we're working on something that's actually worse than the
It's the worst.
religion specific. Yeah, that might make it even easier. So again.
But in the middle of the season, we will at the Sashi.
Yeah. So you just gave it. Yeah.
Wait,
so,
say that one more time. What was it?
Sashes.
Sashes.
So
Okay.
it's gonna be another cosmetic item, right? But then religions can have a specific stash, right? So that was the thing.
No, not a specific sash.
Oh, okay. So you say
Just selling the colored sashi.
oh no, yeah.
You guys will choose that.
So you'll be each religion will have a colored sash that you'd be able to wear.
No. So this is how we do like. You're part of our design discussion. It's, oh, okay, do we want to make it like exclusive to a religion, right? And we're like, oh, well, one of the fun things is like being like among us, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm not really part of that group, but so we're not gonna in game, restrict it that only this religion. We're just gonna give you the options. And we're thinking, oh, there's going to be emergent gameplay. Like, oh, okay, all the followers this got, we're the blue stashes or whatever.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Red Armband Gang in Tarkov.
So,
all right.
Yeah. And basically, yeah, we were like, oh, the armbands in Tarkov. Yeah.
No, basically it came from Ultra Online.
Yeah. Well, so yeah.
Okay. That's kind of I mean, that will definitely polarize people for. All right. Okay. So, and then for the ranks, you had it like on the religion tabs, you had like different ranks listed. So is the idea like cosmetic rewards or something along those lines, or was it just like for the sake of tracking like what rank you get?
It should be ranks of the blessing. So the the more donations, right? That or the more like the worship, then the blessing gets a little bit stronger.
Okay.
Right? And then it resets, right?
And
That's all of it. It's
And what
again,
is
it's
what is the blessing providing you with?
so we want it to be very, very like marginal, like so that's why we want like luck. It's like, oh, you get like 5 luck at blessing,
Okay.
and then it goes up to like 10 luck or something. It was like, forget some other stuff. It was like point one or 0.05%, PDR or something, right? And then you get to the highest, and then you get like 0.5% PDR for all the worshipers.
All right.
So, again,
we were testing.
Yeah, again, this is.
So the only reason like I was asking about luck specifically is because there are certain like quest items and stuff that drop less often if you have more luck, right?
That's gotta be fixed. So with the next hot fix.
Oh, you're changing it.
Yeah. So that was a bug.
Oh, it was a bug. There you go. It was a bug.
Oh no, okay, wait.
We never even thought that was true. We just thought it was like that's how it worked.
So what's the wait? Maybe I'm assuming something. So can you explain again one more time?
Okay, so like if I want wolf pelts, right? If I have 300 luck, the rate of them dropping goes down.
Okay, no. Yeah, so that's not a bug. So
that's not a bug. Okay, so so
the bug was the artifact.
Not a bug.
Okay, no, so it's the way the luck works is luck changes. So again, there's different grades, right?
Yeah, you guys have a bunch of loot pools, and then and then it shifts to like drop things out of those loot pools more or less depending on how much luck you have, right?
Yes, and so if you have higher luck, then the chances of getting the lower grade items actually decreases.
Goes down.
And because you're right, like wolf pelts, those are like green. Or,
right. So like a troll pelt, you don't want more luck because the likelihood of getting a troll pelt actually decreases with more luck.
If a troll pelt is purple, it should actually go up.
Well,
right? So
if you make the troll pelt purple, right now it's blue. Even though it's blue, it still goes down in likelihood to drop. So like maybe you guys got to look at the loot tables then.
Artifact items, we made a new grade and they weren't part of that formula, and so that was static, and everything else changes. But then the share of everything else went up, and that was static. So it actually reduced your chance of getting artifacts, but that's fixed. So, but you're right. So like blue and green items actually with higher luck, the chance of that decreases. So that itself is not a bug.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so the reason why I asked about the luck stat is like I said, like if I want wolf pelts, if I'm getting luck from religion, it's slightly decreasing the likelihood that those are going to drop for like the quest that I'm working on.
Again, yeah. So I mean, we're working on. So we want the stats to feel like, oh, it's doing something, but not really mattering. It's more, again, hey, it gives flavor to that god, the demigod that you're a follower of, and it gives a little bit of variety, right? So we don't want it to actually have a actual big impact on the actual, the in-game dungeoning, but again, it wouldn't make sense if it didn't have any effect at all.
Okay. Let's see. We talked about cat people. And then on the religion tab, there's a thing about like civil war. I'm assuming that is like if you kill people of your own faction.
Yeah.
And does that decrease the value? Like, does that like knock the value down, or like is it a minus if you kill people that are in your own religion?
I believe 그거 있잖아요. 리리전에서요. 우리 편도 우리 그 죽이면 거기가 이제 15를 이렇게 써 있잖아요. 근데 그 점수가 달라요.
You can always get back to
Again,
us, you know.
yeah. So like we made this like a month ago.
Okay.
And so like all those little details we wrote are a little hazy. Like I think it's the same. I believe it's the same. Again, we actually had discussions like should we even include that or not? Because now we're pushing people to start inciting, the religious war, right? But it was like, oh no, I mean, people are gonna ask for this anyways. So I think 진짜 원래는 그거 아니었어요? 이거를 안 보여주고
아, 마지막에, 예, 맞아요. 그거였어요. 근데 지금은 이제 이게 테스트 서버에 나가 있는 거니까 이대로 라이브에 나가는 거는 아니죠. 네, 좀
Oh yeah, okay. So now things are clearing up. So like we were worried about like inciting people to be too sweaty, but the idea is we're not gonna show the stat in real time. It was
Okay.
like, oh, the religious war ended. These are the results. Look at you. Oh my gosh, you guys are so horrible to each other, kind of. But on the test server, is like we have to test things, and so I guess we just ruined the surprise. But yeah, and we got confused again. Lack of sleep. That's our excuse right now. Is trying to juggle too many balls at once.
Okay. I had a follow-up question. Is there any way to visually tell if somebody's part of our religion as of right now, or do you just have to like ask people?
Yeah, I think you just have to ask people.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Current patch stuff. I think the biggest thing with the current patch going into next patch was the AP grind on leaderboard, because we got reverted back to, basically the old AP system grind with the values of certain things being even more valuable, like kills for mobs and PvP kills were more valuable in the second half of this season versus what last season was even. So it was even easier to get to demigod. I'm pretty sure it was the easiest it's ever been. So for this next season, are you guys looking to modify like the leaderboard AP thing at all?
Yeah, but the problem is the bottleneck is going to be us, the two of us in this room right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think because of that, to do like a proper rework is this. There's more important stuff that we're trying to figure out. So I don't know when that. So what we talked about is at least like changing some of the values to kind of again make it a little bit less stressful. So one of the things we talked about is what is it? Like just opening every single chest and killing all the little monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't want to make it feel like you have to do that as a chore, right? So it's like one of the things, the easy way for us is like just like the normal chest, normal monster, they give 0 AP, right? But then like the golden chest, the marvelous chest, the high end chest, they give a lot more AP, and then only sub bosses and bosses start giving AP, right?
Okay.
And then I think
and then modify the scale or.
Yeah. And then the last thing is, the treasure will kind of reduce how the impact. But again, it's just fiddling around with the numbers and stuff more than doing an actual full revamp of the AP. But we know that, if it's terrible. It feels like a grind right now. The way we're looking at it right now is like, hey, we're just using it as a way to announce like, hey, these are when you see the rewards that come out for the, in the mid seasons, like, hey, this is what you get for doing that grind. Is right now we're looking at more as like the system where we could start giving hints at what's coming in the next season.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in the past, go ahead.
Really
Go ahead.
sorry
Sorry.
about that.
Oh, okay. So in the past, for like fighting mechanics, like balance kind of stuff, you know, combat. The idea that was, I guess, being talked about most with SDF was an idea of having like mechanical counters to like certain class synergies, balance, whatever, in game rather than nerfing them. It was like creating counter, you know, plays. Are there any like ideas specifically that you guys are looking at for that? Have you made any progress there with stuff?
Again, it's just you know, we have a lot of distractions, and realistically, the people that could actually you know, have that skill to do that don't have the time right now to do that, right? So, you know, SCF and our co-director, I think just wait a little bit, and you know, like the AP stuff, the rework, when I get a little breathing room, that's going to come to me. All of this combat stuff with the you know, trying to stop this cycle of nerfing things, that's going to go to our co-director at SCF, right? So, but that we just don't have that freedom. So that's why we have to revert back to, okay, table changes, and you know, what was happening.
Okay. Let's see. People on Reddit were asking about crafting skills, like in run, like fishing or like brewing. You know, something that you can do like in raid. Is there like anything like that, or can anything that stuff that could be done like inside of the dungeon that isn't combat related? If that makes sense, other than like mining or gathering. I don't know if you guys had any idea about that, but I'm kind of just going down like stuff that got upvoted the most.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, is, you know,
I know fishing got mentioned before.
Yeah, so we're working on fishing, but there's going to be, but not this season, but soon.
Okay. Chat's spamming now that SDF is in there. Do you want to ask him about the sorcerer? But I think you guys kind of already. I think you kind of already answered it.
밀었다. 그리고 물어봐. 그럼 mid season, 저는 next season 무조건 주인님은
이번 시즌 해주고 싶지만,
예.
그러니까 이번에는 그러니까 리걸리 이슈 때문에 그 머터리를 준비하는 게 지금 너무 빡세니까 거기에 지금 시간 너무 많이 있는.
Yeah, so again, you know, he just straight out said it. It's like, so we have the legal fight here in Korea.
Yeah, you guys said that. I think SDF told Jay you guys had a couple of court dates. So
yeah. So again, that's the big thing, is like we have that court date. It's actually very, very, very close to the actual wipe date, right? And it's like so, and
double deadline.
yeah, so it's like a double deadline, and because you know it's very, again, we're, you know, confident our position and everything, but it's like but it is this complex process, right? And we have to get all the stuff, you know, be very, very, you know, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and make sure and because, you know, it's high stakes, is that the leadership at the company is putting a lot of time and effort into this, right? And then, you know, we have to meet. So that's the thing, is like, hey, once we clear that, right? And I think, you know, we get that out there, and we go to that the court, the hearing, bam, bam, bam. Okay, now we can focus on the game, right? So that's why he's saying, is like, oh, okay, just give me a little bit more time, you know, get this done, get it out of the way, and then I'll be able to focus on the game itself, and then actually building this, right? So yeah, I mean, you know me, I don't really want it. It's just internal stuff, right? It's good for gossip and stuff. It's actually like, for us, it's just, we just have to do the steps, right? And we want to do the steps as properly, and just get everything done as best, you know, properly as possible, and just professionally and stuff, right? But I didn't want to make excuses. I mean, I guess I am making excuses, but that was the whole thing. Yeah.
I think it's a reasonable thing, you know. You got to make sure that you guys protect your company, so can't really blame you for that.
Yeah, but that, yeah, again, so yeah, what SEO is saying is like the thing that's really giving us a lot of hope is like even when we're doing the, our site quest here, is that the onboarding process, a lot of it is now we've come to the point where, oh, it's starting to pay off, and we could trust our members. It's like, hey, even when we're not here doing all this, you guys could carry that torch, right? And so I think you're going to start seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of torches, the charity event, we did a little over $300,000 worth of funds raised from the community for St. Jude. It was like $310,000, and most of that was torch sales. I think you guys, I think the community in whole did almost like a little over 60,000 torches or something were sold. So it was
crazy.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, so thanks for giving us that opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, by the way, as long as I have you both in the room at the same time, I talked to the people that run GCX. If this is something that we do next year, I think what they want to do is after the charity event is over, schedule, if you guys could get out of the office, they want to fly you guys to Orlando for the next convention, and they pay for it, so they would fly you in and set you up in the hotel and everything.
That'd be awesome.
Because you guys are a huge part of it. So
that'd be great. So hopefully, things are all cleared up on our, here, and we don't have these kind of distractions on our side. So I think, that's how. That's how,
so you guys can go to Disney and like Universal Studios and stuff and ride some roller coasters,
Yeah, not feel guilty about, oh my God, yeah.
Okay, so I think you guys answered this before, but there's been questions like repeatedly. Is there any thought, or have you put any more thought into adding a second floor to Goblin Caves? Because people were talking about like a Goblin King or like a giant spider or like a mushroom cavern with like a Spore King boss. Those were like ideas that people were like throwing around on Reddit. But I don't know, like if you're planning on doing like a 2-level thing for like Goblin Caves and then again for Ruins. But I know that like with Goblin Caves, you already have the 2 bosses that are there. And I think the last time we talked, like you were planning on just leaving that a single level.
Yeah. So, I mean, but as soon as you mentioned that, it was like, right now.
This happens every single podcast.
No, so it's really good that now it's like we're kind of getting to the end of this, the one of the, the legal thing. And so for me, it makes me really happy. Like he could be like, oh, I could start thinking about that. It's like, oh, okay, now that kind of mind space is like slowly opening up, right? Because that legal stuff is like, it was taking up a huge chunk. But so yeah, we haven't thought about it, but now we could think about it.
Okay.
Like for the Ruins, so this is the other thing, is it's going to be we're going to test the 3-layer map this time.
Ruins is going to be first level again.
Yeah, first level.
Okay, so there isn't going to be like another queue for Ruins by itself. You're putting that in as the first of 3 levels again.
Yeah, so we have a real big struggle with this. It's like, oh, okay, how do we, like the rotation right now is not the best answer, but it's kind of like the best of all. It's like the best worst, solution right now. And then we're like, okay, well, if we're gonna replace it, which map do we take out? And we're like, man, but so the original idea was like, we'll remove the Goblin Caves and put in the Ruins. That's why we went with 2. Exactly, easy.
Yeah, they would come for you, bro. I wouldn't do that.
and so we're like, oh no, then do we put it into a 4-map rotation? And it was like, oh no, it's already sucks, when you skip over the map that you want and stuff. It's like, oh dude. But the big thing was like, hey, we always wanted to get the 3-layer map to work. I think the thing that gives us hope, and the reason we're trying it this time, is that first of all, we have the Dungeon Express system, the Expressman, right? So,
and I had a request for that whenever,
Okay. So you could tell us that.
Okay, so request for the Expressman is if you end up in the in between levels at the very end, or if you're like the last group, you don't get any time. So can we get like a some type of like interim like timer, or like we could like press ready to like go past it, or whatever. But
Yeah.
it like guys that are getting in at the last minute, they don't have enough time to like put stuff in to like send.
Yes, because Expressman also getting out from the dungeon.
Oh, he's got to get out too. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There's some lore, boys.
Okay.
All right. So that was from Glocktain. So we just have to once again remind Glocktain he has to get good. That's fine.
아니, 근데 우리가 그거를 고민하고 있었잖아요.
근데 finally 결정한 거는 마지막에는 그러니까 오히려 없을 거예요. 그러니까 그냥 보이지도 않아요. 먼저 나갔어. 먼저 내려가고.
오케이.
그래서 그걸 그러니까 누구나 100% 던전 익스프레스맨을 쓰는 걸 원하지 않아요. 근데
오케이.
하고 싶으면 이제 내려가는 것도 전략적으로 선택해야 돼.
Okay.
맨 마지막에 내려오면 찰 수가 없는.
Yeah, so he's saying it's like now it's part of the strategy. You don't want to be the last group that goes, down.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense if you get in there early. Okay.
But yeah, so the reason we're testing it also with 3 is like if it's just 2 layers too, it's like he's there. It's kind of helpful, but it's not like extra motivation,
Right.
And we don't know how well we'll be able to test that. So again, there's things that we're gonna we feel like we always wanted to have like multi-layer, like more than 2, right? So it's like, hey, can we get 3 to work? If this works, then of course we're gonna be like, oh, can we get 4 to work? Yeah, who knows where it goes, but this is some curiosity that we always wanted to see. And hey, more than 2. We feel like this is a chance. The other reason why is because we started doing the new matchmaking system, right? And that makes it a lot easier for us to start working on the floor matchmaking, so we can start matching up people. It's not in yet, and we don't know how soon we're gonna get that in.
Okay.
But it makes it way, way, way easier than previously. So
that was my next question. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the plan is to have some type of like re-entering of matchmaking between floors.
Yes.
Will that be the same for like the Inferno level? Because just for example, when for the short time that we were allowed to, when we were like stacking up Frost Cavern lobbies to go down to make attempts on the Frost Wyvern before it was changed, there's only so many spawn points in Ice Abyss. So if we had 12 people that were going down there, even though we already had like a 3-man party, we were getting solos spawning next to us because all of the other spawn points had been taken up already. Because there were only so many for like each party that was involved. So if you had guys that were like solo queuing, there were people that were like spawning next to our group because there's only so many spawn points on the map. So I guess my question is like, if you're going to revisit matchmaking, are you planning on filling up every lobby every time? So there's like just lots more competition, or is the idea of like, getting through the first 2 levels, if you made it through like Crypts, for example, and you go to Inferno, and there's no other group from that Crypts run that went down, or you just by yourself and you're able to go for a boss fight?
So again, I think realistically, it's going to be hard to even have, because it's timing wise too, and we have the different regions, and then we learned a lot about like with the new matchmaking is like the impact of like trying to get people within similar gear score and stuff. Is like if we want to, so again, it's what do we prioritize? Like with our new matchmaking, now we actually have these DOPs. Like, do we want to prioritize like short timing, wait times? Do we want to prioritize like, more narrow gear score gaps? Do we want to prioritize having full matches and stuff? So these are things that we don't know yet, right?
Okay.
So and the lower you go is that you're gonna have less and less people to work with, right? So
right.
Again, we don't know yet.
Okay. There's stuff to experiment with, I suppose, then. Okay. So the next set of questions were for artifacts. Is there a plan on doing like artifact armor pieces at any point in the future?
So again, once that brain space kind of expands and he has a little bit more freedom. SEO's always said like, hey, artifacts weren't just meant just for weapons. It's supposed to be a bunch of, all the equipment and stuff. So
Okay.
oh,
I don't want to leave
Okay.
this item.
okay. Yeah. So there's
But something should be.
yeah. So there's like a offshoot of kind of the artifacts that's going in this season. So you guys will probably discover really, really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, just we have some Easter eggs and things to discover next season.
Okay. All right. And then
Yeah,
people were acting.
small things, but it gives it more flavor, right?
Okay. All right. So in the same vein of artifacts, people were asking if there was a plan to do like an artifact Zweihander or like a war maul, because I think those are, I think there's an artifact weapon for just about everything else except for those now. Maybe. Oh well, yeah, I think so. Those are the only two that don't have artifacts.
So, again, the artifact designer is SDF.
Oh, and the hatchet.
And he's been a little preoccupied, but once that, yeah.
Oh, I guess there's a few more. People are like, no, what about? So I guess there's a handful of them.
Okay.
Okay.
But the original goal is not to have artifacts for all the weapons and then have it start expanding out to like your armors and stuff, right?
Okay. All right. And then the last time that we had a Q&A session, there was the mention of like special named mobs that would like roam. But I think that was something you were talking about, like needing to adjust pathing so that they went between like modules and stuff, or like appeared. Is that still something that you guys are toying with? I'm going to assume that it's not going to be in this next season because it was never really mentioned before.
Oh, like the roaming.
Yeah, because you were talking about how like you had this idea of doing like a treasure mob or something like that, and then there was like I mean
so like one of like a loot goblin or whatever, right?
Yeah, that or like a like a random like a mini boss that would kind of like spawn and like roam the map.
So we're gonna test little things.
Okay.
This time, that exactly you're talking about is not in, but
okay.
Again, we can.
There's something.
There's something.
Okay.
That the thing you're talking about that we talked about previously. That's been in our confluence for like 2 years, 2.5 years.
Okay. All right.
But
all right.
We'll get to it eventually, right?
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then socket system. You said that it got pushed already, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody was mentioning, or someone I think I read on Reddit, there was a comment about, well, I guess a comment and a question. So the question would be, will it be using the like existing gems in the game that we already loot of varying quality, or will it be new ones? And then there was also the mention of like runes, almost like Diablo 2 rune words. And I don't know if that was something that you guys were planning on or wanted to do, or
again, we don't know. Like,
okay, all right.
Even in our thing, we have like 4 versions that we went through that we designed. And we're like, oh, so again, we went through so many changes, and then the last version, we're like, okay, let's do this one. And then it's going to conflict with our ideas for the arena. Let's put it on hold. So there's a very good chance, like, we see what happens in the arena. We're like, oh, okay, that system was complete rubbish. Let's make a new system. So it's hard to say, like, what the item socket system is going to look like,
Okay.
Like if it's based on the last design document, yes, it would have been based on the, but who knows what's going to happen in the future. Right?
Okay.
So,
all right. So I guess it's a wait and see kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to something a little bit different. Someone made the comment, and I'm sure that you guys already know about this, but summons like treants, if they get kills on mobs, it doesn't give the druid that summoned it credit, like on a quest progression thing. And I don't know. I never asked you guys if that was an intended thing or if it was a bug. If it's supposed to be crediting the druid that summoned it.
근데 제가 선물은 뭐 라스트면 그거 저한테 안 오는 거.
That's the bug.
Okay, he said it's a bug. I didn't even know about
Okay, yeah, I think it's the same thing for Hydras too. I think if it's summoned and it kills something, I don't think it counts. Hydra might count. Hydra might count.
Yeah. So yeah.
We should make that.
I don't think Hydra counts though. I don't think it does.
Okay.
I think it's both of the summons.
그러니까
Oh, and hunting traps. Apparently, if you kill somebody with a hunting trap, it also doesn't count for the hunter.
지금은
그러니까 오너가 그런 거가 없는
네,
거예요.
그런
Yeah.
게 있지만 그게 제대로 리플레이지 않아요.
Yeah. So yeah. Again, yeah. Now we know about it.
Yeah, and like with the loot system, if a summon or a hunting trap kills a player, you get the long timer when you loot them too, because it doesn't count as like a member of your team killing it or whatever.
버시 이렇게 누구지? 이거 okay. Yeah, so like these things are yeah, we have to fix it.
Yeah.
So.
We're doing the Lord's work, chat. Let's go. All right. There's a request for a more detailed report at the end of raids that shows like how much damage you did to stuff, or like if you died in PvP, like how much damage they did to you and like what they used, you know, like a detailed report, like if you died to fireball and like how much fireball damage you took. You talked about wanting to do a more detailed stat screen at some point, like however many podcasts ago. I just know that like that's something you were working on.
So we haven't been working again, it's something that we want to do. So I guess the easiest way to put it is anything that relied on STF, me, the co-director to be implemented, because we've been working on the legal stuff. Those kind of stuff have been kind of delayed a lot and our capacity, but the stuff that the team is doing, like content wise, you know, the levels and the monsters, these kind of stuff, those are the stuff that we're going to be able to deliver. So like, you know, things like the new result screen and new classes, things like this, that's all on us, and that's why most of that stuff's not going in this time.
Okay. Oh, and then there was the last Q&A session, we talked about wands. Is that planned?
Again, guess who the bottleneck is for that?
All right. Okay. All right.
Classes, items,
okay.
balance, that's up to us.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack keeps asking about dwarf skins. Dwarf skin comes up every time. I don't know if you guys have found a dwarf skin that you want to include yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah. Oh, speaking. Okay, so regarding assets, at some point, like, you know, maybe it's way down the line. Do you envision at any point like replacing the store assets with your own in-house stuff? Or do you figure that the store assets will be kind of like where you're going to stay with it in the long term? Just like as an idea kind of thing.
네, 우리 마켓플레이스도 많이 쓰고 있잖아요. 근데 뭐 미래에서는 우리가 이제 직접 만들 건지. Well, so
yeah, it was just like kind of a passing thought. I just didn't know where you guys were with it.
지금 우리 돈 버는 정도로는
not yet. It's not cost effective for us right now to do that in-house. First of all, we don't have really the resources to do that, and that's why. But again, so you know, I think that's one of the parts that we have to kind of get better at is figuring out how to monetize a little better. But again, you know, I think that's important just for the longevity of the game. But that wasn't like, I've had really close friends that, hey, I like the game and stuff. How do I get legend? And then, you know, they're like gamers too, but it's a really convoluted process to upgrade your, you know, version from the Squire to legendary and stuff like that, right? Like none of it's streamlined, none of it, you know, because we're just like, hey, you know, we want to give fan service, but I think we're getting closer and closer to operating as a real business, and so we have to kind of start looking into improving that. So yeah, right now it's not cost effective. That it's
Sure.
actually not even really high on our priority
Yeah, it was kind of
list.
like long vision idea. I didn't know if that was something that you guys wanted to transition into like years down the line or not. It was just random question. Okay, so inventory rework stuff. Well, obviously, people are going to want to know about like quivers and backpacks and like that kind of thing. Is that got?
Guess who designs that?
All right,
I'm so
that is an
so,
SD.
like, oh,
That is an
really?
SDF question, boys. SDF question. So y'all are going to
그거
have to wait.
이러면은 주인님이 하는 거잖아요. 그래서 이번에는
Chad, what else you want to know? Oh, there's.
So he's saying sorry, Rangers. He knows the
You don't have to apologize to Rangers. Rangers are fine. Listen, we all watch Soapy take out 2 and 3 mans all the time. He doesn't need a quiver. He's fine. Soapy, you're fine. All right, you can wait.
네, 그래도 이제 세시가 들어갈 수 있다는 거는 우리가 그 슬롯이랑
네.
컨트롤에서 훨씬 자유로워졌다는 거. 이제 가능해질 거야.
Yeah, so we're coming towards the end of like that item refactoring,
Okay.
그래서
And
all right.
끝난다.
So again, you got to think about like the item refactoring was like this huge subsystem, and then it was like trying to catch up like a year and a half worth of stuff all at once.
Inventory system.
Yeah, inventory, yeah, and the item management, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of bugs. There's still, we're fixing those one by one. Part of like the legal ESP is actually kind of there's
오늘 핫픽스의 그거는 아마 필수일 걸로 기대하는데.
okay. So
expect that.
SCF again. I don't want to get too much hope, but he's saying is because we
time.
yeah. Today's hotfix should hopefully fix the legal ESP because we think we found that culprit.
Okay.
It was linked
So-
somewhat to that kind of whole
Players.
So by legal ESP, you mean the stutter when people come within range. So the hotfix today is supposed to fix most of it. We won't I'm always cautious when I say it's going to fix it because they'll find a way to make sure it doesn't work.
Yes. So
Okay.
but technical, looking at the technical reason why we think it's occurring, we're pretty sure, but so again, these are kind of all the side effects of that huge, big, giant refactoring that we put in all at once, and then there's all these like little things that kind of popped its head up, and then we have to start searching, and now we're kind of getting to the end of okay, finally we have that base system for the inventory. We think we could work like that. The stuttering legal ESP that we talk about, it's kind of like the few remaining little things that we have to fix on that, right?
Okay.
So
people are asking about like weapon skins. I don't know.
So okay, this goes back to because we're so the other thing we were talking like that's why he brought up like investing into doing our own models right now is difficult, but you're right. Like it's not something we never talked about. It's like our goal is like, oh, that would be cool, because it gives us more freedom and stuff. But how do we get to a point where we would feel solid enough that we're not, risking the company to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay,
I just want a long sword that's like a balloon sword that squeaks when you hit people.
So no, so we have talked about, hey, let's try to actually make a strategy for the shop, the in-game shop, the cosmetics. And so I think we're gonna put actual more effort into that. That's gonna be a little bit more what I take over probably next season is that you'll start
Okay.
seeing. So you will start seeing like, yeah, even this next hot fix, like just to make it a little bit, easy, like QOL things for the shop. And then we have a idea here to make stream, I don't know if it's going to go in at the start of the season, but we're going to work on, again, getting more financial resources that we could start reinvesting into getting the game. So that's another kind of goal for us, right? To look at is that improving the shop, improving that kind of the monetization experience, right?
Sure.
Again, we're gonna experiment here. Let us know.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What else, chat?
So I think there's one part that I wanted to talk about with the arenas that I kind of missed.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, this is an internal discussion that we had. Again, this is not set in stone, but just to make, just to kind of temper expectations, is that one of the things we're talking about with the arena is it might, like I said, it probably won't be available all the time. We're gonna kind of roll it out and have like limited time where you can actually do it. The reason why we're looking at it is that at least the way that the first iteration of the arena is that we're thinking it's going to be a subset of our current population that's going to really be involved with the arena, and we want to. So one of the big kind of worries here is to have proper matchmaking. We want to have, because we want it to be like a representation of, I'm showcasing my skill, and to do that properly is that we want to match up people based on skill. But to have a properly working system like that is that we have to have a sufficient matching pool. And at the same time, be a skill base is that we are thinking about having restrictions based on regions, like, because, latency will make a difference.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so, making all these considerations, sorry, sleep deprivation here. But basically it comes down to is if it's open 24/7, we feel like, it kind of dilutes the matching pool. And to have this be a better showcase of skill, it's like, we want to have like concentrated where we could have like, this is the time to really showcase your skills, but it's a limited time. But then during this limited time, we could kind of push for, hey, the quality of the matching pool is going to be higher because it's a limited time. Our assumption is that, the people that are really invested in this, they're going to all try to hop on at that time, and we're going to have a fuller matchmaking pool. So again, this could change. Our initial thought right now is that probably do it like it only opens on like Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, or something like this, and then the rest of the weekday, you go and hunt for your found by Onepeg items, build up your stash to go back in for that weekend's arena.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're planning on having it be like a weekend style of event?
Yeah, to more to give it an event feel. But the reason why it wasn't just to make it an event, but it's an actual real design issue of like getting the highest quality matching pool possible. And how can we do that? If it's diffused across any time, we feel like there's going to be people that could exploit like off times to go up the ranks and stuff. And so these are kind of problems that we're foreseeing. So this time let's try to, and for us it's easier for us to handle and to look at that feedback, right? Because more focused and concentrated. So I wanted to get that out there so people don't have this arena's out, and it's like this. I could play anytime I want, It's
right.
Like, prepare for it. Strategize, theory craft for your team and stuff, and then let's put on a performance,
Is there like a series of reward stuff that's planned for Arena based on like rank achieved, or how do you guys envision like the reward system? I'm assuming that there is one, or will be one, maybe.
Eventually, yes.
Okay,
But
so for now it's just for the
maybe not at the
glory of
start.
it. Got it. All
At
right.
the, yeah.
Well, that and
Because
if you end up killing an RMT Timmy, you get to loot his body, right?
yeah.
Okay. What else you got, chat? People keep asking about a jump height stat. I don't know why that would matter.
Jump height stat.
Yeah, they want to be able to modify their jump height with stats. I don't know why.
We never thought about that. I don't know if we're gonna. Yeah.
There are already chicken and double jump.
There. Yeah. So you're saying there's already chicken and double jump.
Yeah.
Ways to.
Yeah. Quality of life modification for the marketplace. This is something that I saw that I had in my notes too. People are asking about being able to right click an item in your inventory and go to the market with it. Like search, if you want to search for a halberd or search for stats or whatever, you could like right click the item and like search for it.
So okay, we probably need a little bit more, guidance on that. So you right click
so
on the item.
let's say like you have a halberd with like you have a legendary halberd with whatever the random affixes are that are on it, like like +2 weapon damage, right? So you would right click on the item and then search for that item with that stat specifically, so that it goes to the marketplace and like searches for it right away, instead of having to, or if I wanted like if you wanted to sell it. That way you could see like comparatively what other people have that listed for. Like you can, like, it's just a way for you to filter by like, if I wanted a spell book of a certain type, I can, kind of like queue that up with an item in my inventory or whatever and see it.
Okay. So I think that's something we could definitely consider, because we're already considering the second part where it's like, you could, we show like historic prices or what the prices that are up on the marketplace, to make it easier for you to kind of get the relative value or when you want to sell.
Right.
So we're working on that marketplace QOL, but that's something we want to get in. It's not going to get in right away, but
I want to say something. The goal is simply just reduce the click count, and that's my goal.
So so for the QOL goal is to reduce the amount of clicks that are necessary to do actions,
about month range. Click count. I want to reduce that.
Okay. People keep asking if they can change their character name while keeping fame. It sounds like something that you could have them pay for.
그 캐릭터 이름 바꾸는 거야.
Planned, but it has a little complicated.
Okay. So it was. So I know I think we did the account name, right? But then we plan to do the character name. There's a technical hiccup. I don't know the specifics, but seeing the expression on STS face is like, oh, okay, there's an issue there that we're trying to figure out, but it's planned.
It's planned.
Yeah. Okay, so is Otto is between levels right now, right?
Yeah, that's supposed to be.
Otto is between. Yeah, and you're gonna bring him back for the tavern, I would assume, when you do the social space. Or is he just going to be between levels with the express man?
지금 이제 오토가 강아지 오토 그 태번 있었잖아요. 근데 이제 그 중간에 익스프레스맨 옆에도 오토 있잖아요.
그 포스트맨은 약간 템포러리.
네. 근데 이제 우리가 게더링하면 다시 또 오토가 생길 건지, 이거가 어떤지.
I don't know. There should be some cat or something.
Yeah, I think because Otto's now the post hound, or he's Otto, right?
That's Otto. Otto is the dog, guys. You know that Otto didn't stay a puppy forever, right? Like it's actually based on a real dog.
So, it's my sister's dog.
Yeah.
But so STS is saying, hey, because Otto's now he got a promotion. There's probably got to be some replacement. Maybe a cat or something. So that's what he's saying, but he doesn't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know. We haven't even thought about that.
얘기했어요. 그 로비 이모트 중에 폴 하면 보트가 뛰어가서 이렇게
Oh,
로비 이벤트 있었다고. 그건 재밌을 것 같아.
no, yeah. So again, I think chat, has given good ideas too about like having interactive emotes and stuff that we could do.
그 요즘 로비 이벤트.
Yeah, lobby emote.
그거
Lobby emote. 이렇게.
좀 어디서 오는.
You know where you're sitting in the lobby at the start where the three of you on the table, and there should be a emote where you could call Otto, he'll come.
Cam
Things
Soda
like that.
says buff barbs.
Buff bards.
Buff barb. Barbarian.
That's just laughing. He's
Cam,
like,
we
"No."
love you, man. People are there's a couple of guys that keep spamming wanting there not to be more than one of the same class on the team. I told them to get good.
그러니까 클래스 그 파티에서 똑같은 클래스가
아레나에서는 못할 거예요. 근데 던전은 아직 왜냐면
못해요?
진짜게 할 생각은.
Okay.
근데-
Well, he said in the arena he's actually thinking about limiting.
Limiting to one class choice like in arena.
근데 던전
Yeah, but for dungeon, yeah,
현실에서는 만약 현실에 던전 있으면 같이 다닐 거니까.
yeah, but the dungeon itself should have no class restrictions. It's like, hey, the triple druid rat squad. I mean, which is not great right now. But if they, we don't want to put those kind of artificial restrictions for the dungeon, right?
I don't. Renatera, what is regional accuracy? You keep saying that. I don't know what you mean.
Regional accuracy.
Original person was that?
Did I say that?
Original price or something.
I have no idea what he means by that.
They misheard me. So,
Oh, and people are asking about what is the tainted heart.
Oh, the painted heart. Yeah. Okay. There's a big man. There's a big history of this. So, so Tainted Heart is a soul heart skin, right? And then we heard the feedback. It's like, oh, well, hey, like solo players, I grinded demigod, and no one's ever gonna, appreciate this. So we've been working on ways to make it so if you had the Tainted Heart, you could look cool, cosmetic, to other players. But the ideas that we've implemented so far, they look far from cool. So we still have a week to get this.
That's still hitting.
Yeah, we're still
Okay.
tuning it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see it when it's done. Okay.
Yeah.
Regarding the wipe itself, are you planning on having the season begin when the game wipes, or starting it a couple of weeks after the season starts? For the leaderboard, I mean.
Oh yeah, we'll start a little bit later.
Okay.
So we yeah.
Will the seasonal
That's general
rewards be in like when the game wipes, or are you planning on having that be like a week or two afterward as well?
언제 들어갈 건지.
와이프 시작하고 함께 하고 싶은데.
So he always wants to put it in at the start of the wipe. We wanted to do this with this wipe, but you saw how late it came in. But this time, so the difference between last time and this time is that the content guys that are doing that, like they've gone through that process now. So I think they could get it done a lot quicker without us. So
다니가 나한테 좀 좋은 거 주고 싶어.
yeah, but then we want to give something. It's like we kind of learned our lesson with this with the heart this time. Is we want to give something kind of cool with the demigod for next season, and that hasn't been set in stone yet. So it might get delayed. Yeah.
Okay. Are we getting a reset of the blue stone shards this time around?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this goes back to the rethinking about how to monetize. So I think yes, it's going to be reset this time, but we're going to make it so there's a limit that you can get. You can only get 5 per season.
Okay.
But we reset every season.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna tweak make it a little bit longer to get to the max. So
Okay.
but yeah.
Let's see. If we hit the express man in between levels and drop the items with him, does that count toward AP if we were doing HR runs?
No, at
It
least
won't.
not now.
Okay.
Yeah, the season right now, or the system.
But you're
how it is,
changing the AP system anyway to be more heavily around like killing bosses and mini bosses and that kind of stuff and big chests. So
Yeah.
it won't be the same AP system anyway.
Yeah, but the changes that we could do to the AP system this time is just going to be fiddling around with the numbers, right? So we're just going to be like, monsters. We just set it to 0, the normal monsters. Bosses, we set it higher, like that. So the system itself isn't really changing. It's more the values we're going to work around to kind of, incentivize people to play a certain way. We don't know if it's going to work or not because, again, it's not a extensive rework of the AP system.
People are asking for like a larger emote wheel or like a secondary emote wheel because there's so many emotes in the game and you can only bring so many,
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, that's on the task table right now.
Okay. All right. Working on it, chat. They're working on it. Yeah. The arena, like there was a talk of being able to like bet on stuff. Is that still something that you're looking at doing?
No, not right.
Not anymore.
Again, arena. No, so again, the arena that's coming out right now it's going to be pretty basic, right? But it's even with the basics right now internally, it's fun. I get smashed all the time, and but it does give you So there's none of that betting and stuff yet. We don't know if we're going to add it, but again, that was one of the things that we had conceptually at the start. But we were surprised that even the base game of the arena is fun right now. So let's put this out first. It's not nowhere near complete, but let's start with this and then we can start building upon it.
Okay. Let me see. Is there like any new weapons, armor, that kind of thing planned for the wipe?
Yes.
Okay. Not elaborating.
But no. Yeah. So
it's all right. It can be a surprise.
Part of the Easter egg. It's part of the Easter egg. So
okay.
You'll discover it.
Okay. Let's see. People are asking about the Skelly Champ stats. The skin.
Skeleton champion could race stat. I know I've reviewed it, but I don't know what it is.
I started on that.
Oh, he's not gonna say. Okay, he's not gonna.
He's not saying.
So.
All right, we'll find out together. There was a thing with like so at the last hotfix, you guys modified it so that you weren't able to bring in like gear in your backpack to like boost your gear score. That was the intention, but it was limiting people's ability to like bring items in their bags to like swap out like crossbows and like that kind of thing. But the criticism that people have is for like fighters and rangers that bring like 2 and 3 windlasses in their backpack so that they can like shoot people and like op them from wherever. Is there like anything that you guys have looked at for like balancing that, like making it take longer to like equip a windlass versus reloading it, like that kind of thing?
So Ezio's nodding his head.
Okay.
That, so.
All right. There's stuff coming. The halberd. Apparently on the third swing, like half of the hitbox is missing, like the half of the handle from like halfway down the shaft of it to your hands. It has no hitbox. It doesn't hit anything.
Oh, okay, we'll check that. That's it's an easy technical.
I heard it.
Yeah, we just by what you describe, I think we know what the.
And people are saying it's the same thing with the crystal sword.
Oh, crystal sword. Okay, on the third animation.
And they're just saying it's the same with the crystal sword.
Yeah, we can check. We know where to look. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else, chat? We're getting a little long here. We're at 2 hours, so. Chat, they're working. They're going to add weapons right along. somebody keeps specifically asking about a samurai sword, but I know that you guys have a ton of like weapons and stuff that you want to add.
Katana, like
Yeah, katana. Yeah,
I like that, but I don't know. But
it's not on the menu right now. Yeah.
Larger team sizes. People keep asking if there's going to be like larger team sizes. I know that like every time that we've talked about this, you've said 3 is the limit.
Party size.
Not interested.
Not interested.
Yeah. Not for now.
So no. And then people keep asking about like dungeon rotation, but we talked about that earlier. Like the dungeon rotation is staying for now. It's not the most elegant solution, but it's the best one we have at the moment.
Yeah, and Ruins is going in as the top floor of the Forbidden Castle. So
Yeah,
yeah.
And then there's like the shield clipping, I guess, is another good one. That's actually a pretty good one. So if somebody's very, very close to you, the hitbox for like the weapon that you're using ends up like coming into being like as they're lunging. If they're like up on top of you, like with a dagger, if they go to like stab, the hitbox is past the plane of the shield, like when the attack initiates right away and goes like beyond the shield and hits you. If somebody's like really up against you, like the shield doesn't stop them from like hitting you if they're close enough where they start the attack behind the shield basically.
Okay. So
아주 오래된 시작부터 있었던 문제.
yeah.
지금 우리 패기 시스템과 글록 시스템의 문제고. 이거는 이제 해결해야 될 문제인데 아주 급하게 보고 있지는 않은 상태였죠. 근데 이제 손을 대야 되긴 할 거예요.
그리고 문제는 이거 해줄 수 있는 사람이 주님이랑 혜성님이니까요. So it's been a known issue for a long time. It hasn't been high priority. The biggest issue is the person that could actually fix it is SDF and our co-director, because they're the one that made the entire block, the combat system. So they know about but yeah.
Guys, they pushed the talent tree. I know that you guys keep asking about talent trees and class training. That system got pushed. It's going to be later.
Yeah. So and that's something that if it's made, it's going to be us as the bottleneck. Right now, we know that that's something we want to revisit, but I think again, we're trying to focus on making the full game loop a little bit, fuller. So like a space for competitive, sweaty PvPers, a social space for like a public social space, and then a more kind of intimate, like a group social space. Those are the things that we're kind of like large scale, areas that we want to look at. And then these subsystems like training, those are all things that are still very much like, in that we're considering and thinking about, but we want to get these big, at least something to cover these big pillar kind of spaces.
Right.
So arena is like that first attempt. Hey, this is the PvP, the gathering hall is going to be like the public space, like the gathering hall, like what was it? Expand that kind of tavern to outside so you could punch each other and duel and stuff. And then like for the more private stuff is your player housing and the guild house, right? So we want to start slowly rolling those out as big features, and then we could start coming back to the training. And the big reason training has been pushed off so much is the people that could actually focus on that is they have so much other things to focus on too. And I think, we want to make the classes and the perks worthwhile. Like there's a lot of underutilized perks right now before we could actually start really addressing training.
Okay. All right. So I got 2 more questions and I think we can wrap it up. So the first one is with there being like a 3-layer system, like Ruins to Crypts to Inferno, are you guys okay with the loot progression between the 3 layers? Because I mean, like, you can get crazy loot in Inferno. Like, I mean, people go bossing, they get crazy drops all the time. But I don't know what you guys thought about it. If you thought that the loot is good, or if it's going to be, you know, increased, buffed, whatever. And then the well, I guess I'll let you guys answer that one first.
Yeah. So I think so one of our mistakes with the last 3 layers is that we made the loot not so great at the first layer, and then, you know, so it kind of forced you to always go to Inferno. Is that this time we want to make it like, hey, it's still worthwhile to do each layer, and it gives you just, hey, if it's like a bonus going down each layer, but at the same time higher risk, right? So I think like one of the complaints that we saw this season was like, oh, it felt like the loot in the crypts was less satisfying, right? And so I think, hey, we have to make going down to the crypts more worthwhile, right? So yeah, there's gonna be better loot rebalancing.
Okay.
So our thing is that we want people to keep on going down because, hey, you know, why not? I'm gonna get more stuff. I'm gonna get, you know, even though I got good stuff at the top, I was like, hey, I can get better stuff out down here. So yeah, loot should feel more rewarding.
Cool. There you go, boys. Loot will feel more rewarding. And then we had one more. There was something here. Let me see. To reward PvP and player kills, why not have the AP collected by players you kill given to you? If someone kills 10 goblins and you kill them, you should get that AP they collected. It'll filter out good players and bad players. I don't think that actually does that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Again, there's a lot of ways that we could rework the AP. It's just we haven't really, so yeah, I can't give a good answer right now.
I mean, like, to me, that doesn't sound like that great of an idea. I mean, if you end up running across and clap somebody that was weakened by fighting a bunch of PvE, that shouldn't reward you as a, like, just because you killed them in PvP. Like, why would you get all of their credit? You should just get credit for killing them in PvP.
Yeah, well, so to me, I just want to say is like, oh, okay, I'm not even thinking of it in that way right now, because it's the only thing that I could actually address in AP is just the values right now. It's like we have to start building new stuff. So, and
okay.
if we're gonna do that, I want to think more deeply about that. So.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is actually worried about, like, whether or not AP farming is a problem because somebody else beat you to the punch on mobs. That's not really an issue. Ryan, what are you asking? Wands and slingshots, I already asked. It is an issue. Well, then kill them, Synthbreak. Get good, man. Oh yeah, somebody, and then all right, last question. I'll let you guys go. The spell book melee hit. I just want to slap somebody across the face with an encyclopedia. Can we get that in game? I just want to bab somebody across the face with a book. Like, I think that would be funnier.
Yeah. So
the low priority.
It's low priority.
Low priority. Come on, come on.
He's smiling, he's laughing, but it's like right now. Yeah, it's.
Chad, honestly, arena or hitting somebody across the face with an Encyclopedia Britannica. I'm just saying.
네, 그 생각했어요. 그러니까 소설로가 나오면 이 뮤지컬 미디엄들 그 벌써 스톱들 있잖아요.
Everybody's writing book. They're trolling. They're trolling.
새로운 기능들이 생길 수 있어요. 그때 해서 들어갈 수도 있어요.
Ryan wants new Druid forms. I think, are Druid forms still planning on coming after Sorcerer?
그러니까 드루이드 그 변신하는 것들 더 yeah. So again, right now STF's focus, he really wants to do the sorcerer. So like and you know you talking about the spellbook smash across the face, it was like he brought that up. It's like, but because it's low priority, but because he's working on the sorcerer, and the way the sorcerer is going to be implemented is it requires changes to the current magic items
Oh,
왜냐면 통화는 그거 없이 막 없을 수 있기 때문에
Yeah.
얘한테 들었을 때 기능이 따로 있어야 돼요.
Yeah. So what he's saying is the sorcerer could cast magic even without those the magical implements, right? And so because of that is that he's already thinking of, oh, so those items need to have secondary actions.
oh, right. Because if you're carrying them, then there's really no purpose for them if you don't need it to cast spells. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what he's saying. So he's hinting at that. Yeah. He's
All
like,
right.
it's low priority right now, but it is intertwined with what his thinking for, getting the sorcerer out too.
So I can
that's why
you can like throw a crystal ball at somebody.
yeah. Well,
That's fun.
I mean, if
Yeah,
I get
that's
to
fun.
yeet a crystal ball at somebody, that's pretty funny.
Or like a bowling.
bowling. You say you can roll it down there.
Oh, bowling. All right. Dude, imagine if you could bowl them down and like trip them up. That'd be pretty funny. All right, chat. I think guys, thank you. It's been over 2 hours. I think we'll let you go. This was actually cool. The arena system sounds pretty sweet. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
We'll be trying our own tournament.
Oh yeah. So I think so again the scheduling for the arena is not going to come out right away. Like I said, there's going to be like the first 2 weeks or
Okay.
3 weeks of the season is just just play the regular season, just get items, right? Get ready.
Yeah, because you want to get the gear collection going anyway. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then I think one of the things that we are working on is one of the to showcase the arena is internally is do like a tournament, arena tournament with some of the more well-known people in the community. So we're going to be working on organizing that.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys very, very much. You had Terry. You mentioned something. You said that SDF wanted to say something. Is that something you guys still want to do, or did it already get said?
할수 있다고 그래서 제가 한다는데 주님 오면 그러니까 뭐 말하고 싶은 거 있었다 사이드한테. 근데
I forgot.
he forgot.
He forgot. All right. Well, that works. All right. Well, we
if you can see it right now, it's like I want him to go back and sleep.
Yeah, get some rest, man. Get some rest. All right. Well, guys, thank you very, very much for the time. Thank you for talking about the patches with all of us. We all appreciate the work that you guys do. Look forward to the next talk and look forward to the white patch. It'll hopefully be good. And we'll all enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.